Hi there, welcome back. How are you today? So a few days ago we posted a gorgeous video on your spirit guides and their names. If you don't have their name, and about, so many people are so worried about calling them the wrong name or being disrespectful, all of that. Now, know in your heart, as we said in that previous video, you can't get it wrong with your spirit guides. They've been with you from the beginning. They know exactly how you talk, how you interact with everyone. They've been with you the whole time. You don't have to put on a special way of speaking to them or a special way of being when you're around them, that you have to be, all reverent is, I think, the word I'm looking for, or they're trying to bring through. But if to you, play with it. Like we were saying, if you feel playful with your spirit guides and you want to give them names because they haven't given you a name, you can call them sassy, or, give them a nickname like you would a best friend, it doesn't matter. Oh, this one's sassy, she's coming in and she's, they don't care, but at the same time, I thought, oh, some people, yes, they'll want to play with that and they'll have fun with that, they'll look at the spirit guide or have a feel for how that spirit guide feels. You may want to call them joy, or or however they feel to you, whatever's coming through, because many of you may not be able to see them, but you may be able to feel them. There's a knowing that they're there, and it's in that feeling. How do they feel to you? They feel joyful. Well, and call them joy, call them happy, call them, whatever feels right to you. But as we put that video together and we thought, oh, lots of people are going to have fun with that, and that's great. There may be a lot of people that have resistance, that just feels wrong. It doesn't feel right to be giving your spirit guide a name, especially if it's something like, sassy or whatever it is, or goofy, or, whatever you want to play with. And you feel within your heart that you do want to be reverent, that these are holy beings, and that, this is your feeling around them. Then go with that. You have to follow what resonates with you. But in this gorgeous video, they just wanted to say there's no right way or wrong way to do this. There's just what feels right for you. So if giving them a name doesn't feel right and you prefer to wait for them to give you a name, then that's fine too. I can't remember what video I said that the gorgeous spirit guide I have every time I go into the Akashic records, I don't have her name. I have no idea what her name is. And every time I go in there, she appears, and I have asked her, because at one point I went through a stage where I was intending to ascend. I was going through this gorgeous book, Preparing for Full Consciousness. And one of the chapters is I intend to ascend. And she appeared then again as well, when I was going through that intending to ascend period of my life, that I just wanted to go deeper. I wanted to go higher, more. I wanted to, expand. And she appeared then. And when she appeared in those sessions, I would ask, her name. And she just didn't speak. The first time she came in, and it was straight after I did this beautiful meditation, I intend to ascend. The very next day she appeared, in the session, in my meditation, and she doesn't speak. She didn't speak. So I would just allow her to come in, and I would just sit with the beautiful energy she was bringing through. And then and I asked her, do you have a name? And there was nothing. I got crickets, I could have called her crickets actually, but I didn't get anything, just crickets. Anyway, so the following, when we did it the next time that I was intending to ascend and waiting for all this beautiful information to come through, and I could see the DNA being restranded, and there's so much beautiful energy coming through, the visions I was receiving were incredible. I was feeling so expansive, and she came in again. And so I was like, okay, she doesn't talk. But then the questions were there. Who is she? Why is she here? I've never had her before, and I don't remember calling her in. Why is she here? And it was after that session she left, and I was prompted to turn around because Archangel Raphael always stands behind me for some reason. And I was prompted to turn around, and I looked up at him because he's always this massive being. I don't know why. He's so tall. And so I was like, yep, what? And he said, she's here to assist with your ascension. And I was like, oh, okay. But I learned to trust from that moment, that if they don't give you a name, do we really need one? Is it necessary? I think is what they want to bring through in this beautiful video. What is our hang up with names? Why do they need to have a name? She looks very, very different to all my other beautiful beings that are in my spirit team, completely different. And after that time that I was going through that, the only other times I see her is in the Akashic Records. That's where she appears. And she has this gorgeous face of a barn owl. I just feel at peace when she appears. I feel like I'm washed like a blanket of, this, this peace washes over me every time I'm in her presence. There's just something about her that she brings through that I don't get from my other beautiful spirit guides, from none of the others. There's this incredible sense of peace. I feel at peace when I'm in her presence. And she will guide me. Like, one of the first times I was in the Akashic Records, she took me to this massive library and she showed me this, I think it's, this table. I'm trying to think of what it's called, if I can find the right word. But it's, when you're at church and they have that special table where they place the Bible and they read from there. I can't think of the right word for it, but I know what it looks like. Anyway, so she guided me. There were all these desks, all these tables, bookcases upon bookcases as far as the eye could see in every direction. Like there was no end to them on both sides of this gorgeous library that just went on forever, and filled with books. But she took me to this particular table, this very special table, and there was a book there. It was quite a thick book, but they were empty pages, the blank pages. And so I'm looking at the pages, I'm looking at the book, I'm thinking, oh, yeah, I always thought I was going to receive this incredible information, this mind-blowing information. And I look at her like, and the information I received wasn't from her, but I could hear the words, you have to write. You need to keep writing, were the words. And this was just before When Love Leaves. I had finished Easy Mind, Easy Life. And at that point, I had given up writing. And then I went into, the Akashic Records, and she took me to that empty book to tell me I need to keep writing. There's more information that needs to come through for the world, not just for me. Yes, I expand every time and then I can share it here. But I won't be here forever. And these beautiful books with all this gorgeous information will remain for future generations, So yes, there'll be the YouTube videos, but who knows how that's all going to evolve? Will YouTube still be here 100 years from now? All these beautiful videos that have been created, will all this information still be here? Or will we be communicating in a different way? Who knows? We don't know what how that's going to look in the future. I just know that for now, this is what they wanted me to do. They wanted me to keep writing. So my beautiful beings, this incredible being, when she shows up, it is so peaceful in her presence. It is such a beautiful place. Even just thinking about her takes me there, to this peace inside, because it's all inside. So follow your heart when it comes to your spirit guides. If they don't have a name, see, this is the tricky bit, the tricky part, or the tricky bit. I couldn't make up my mind which word to use, the bit or the part. So I ended up pit. Now, the tricky part is, can you see them? If you have a clear vision of what they look like, then that is all you need to do to bring them in each time. You just see them and they are there. This is the only reason you want the name, is if you can't see them, if you don't have a vision, if you don't know what they look like, you know, and you want to call them in, then use the word spirit guide, because that is what they are. They're in the spirit realm and they're here to guide, to assist, to, you know, they're here to support us in everything that we do. So, my beautiful beings, don't get caught up on what their name is if it's not clear what it is. You know, we're the ones that seem to think we need that. SG, you can call them SG, spirit guide. Use the initials for fun. Be playful with them. They love playing, by the way. They love having fun. They love being joyful. They love all the things, you know. So be playful. If it feels right for you, like we said before, if it feels wrong that I shouldn't be talking to these beings this way, then do it your way. Do whichever way feels right for you. There's a reason you're talking to them that way, or you feel you need to talk to them in that way. But talk to them. As long as you're talking to them, does it really matter? You know, asking for assistance, asking for guidance, asking for signs, asking for a person. You know, you need a human being that is going to help you with something. You need their help, their assistance. Ask, maybe a doctor. Ask your spirit guides, please. Find me the right doctor for whatever it is that you've got. You know, it just reminds me, for so many years, my poor husband had this problem with his sinuses when he was in his teenage years. His nose got smashed in with a surfboard. And so after that, it wasn't quite put together properly. You know, I'm sure they operated to fix it, to put it together, but it didn't heal properly. And so for so many years after that, he kept having all these sinus problems and blockages and pain in that area because it just wasn't healed properly. And so he'd go to the doctors and the doctors would always send him back with antibiotics. He'd just been to so many different doctors and that's all they'd ever send him home with. And then one day, you know, we moved to where we are now. And a few years after we'd moved in, he decided, I'll try the doctor at the top of the street. And the doctor that was supposed to be in that day, he wasn't in. His wife was in, but she's a gynecologist. Even so, she looked at him and she said straight away, you need to have that operated. You need to get that fixed. After years and years, we'd been together for about 15 years of watching him go to doctors and doctors and doctors, and all they ever did was send him home with antibiotics. And a gynecologist, which isn't even her specialty, sent him to a specialist and he got his nose operated, and that has been sorted. Sometimes it's just finding the right doctor. Yes, you may have a doctor that says, oh, look, there's nothing we can do for you. Okay, that's his opinion, his professional opinion. But there will be others. If it doesn't feel right to you, what this doctor is saying, find another doctor. We've been through it quite a few times with different things. We'll be with the doctor and then we'll find, oh, okay, they're not really helping with this situation. Like my daughter with her allergies. When she was 5, we went to an allergy specialist and he did all the tests, sent us home with the EpiPen, sent us home with the Claritine, with the antihistamine liquid thing. And thank you very much. I think it was like $500 later. Thanks for coming. Right? Or whatever it was at the time. I forget, because 5, that was like 8 years ago now. That was it. It's like, yes, she's allergic. Here, this is what you need. When she has an allergic reaction. That was it. And yet, by chance, at a water park, where there's all these water slides, a lady overheard my daughter talking to her friends about whether she could eat this particular biscuit because it had traces of tree nuts. Would she have an allergic reaction? And she said, oh, your daughter has allergies. What doctor did she go to? And I told her the doctor we went to the first time, but I couldn't convince my daughter to go back. She gave me the name of another specialist that she was seeing. And guess what? We've been with this doctor now for 2 years. He does the desensitization program. So over time, we've come home with the specific nuts that my daughter is allergic to in very low doses. And she has it every morning to desensitize so that eventually she will no longer have those allergies. Find the right doctor, please. SG, Spirit Guide, find me the right doctor that can assist me with this. You can ask your spirit guides for anything. For me, for most of my life, I didn't even know they were there. I was walking this life unconsciously. Can you imagine how thrilled they would be that you're having a conversation with them, no matter what that conversation looks like, when you've been ignoring them your whole life because you didn't know they were there? This was me. I didn't know they were there. I didn't know they existed. I didn't know they were real. So for them now, every time I just mention their name, they're like, there's a happy dance. It's like, yes, you know, we're doing this together. I'm calling you in. Come on, let's do this. Help me out here. I need this. Help with this. You know, I just want to be with you for this. That's all. Just give me strength, give me courage, give me whatever it is. Even if it's just for them to sit with you so that you don't feel lonely. Even that's enough. So follow your heart. In every single video, we say this all the time. Do what resonates with you. If I'm saying to give them a nickname, call them by the initials SG, because you don't want to be too formal with spirit guide. Now, a spirit guide, you may have the feeling that is one of your ancestors. It could be a grandparent. It could be one of your parents if they've already passed away. And you feel them really strongly in your field. Mum, you know, she passed away 3 or 4 years ago. Mum, I really need your help with this. You know their name. You know they're your ancestors. Grandma, you know, help me with this. If it's an ancestor, yes, of course you know their name. An aunt, an uncle that was special, that was supportive to you, that you feel a strong connection to, you can call them by name. But if it's another being, or if you don't know who it is that's in your field assisting you, spirit guide is enough. They know you're calling them in. They know who they are. They know who they are. They don't need a name. They know that you are calling them. They know who it is that you are calling in. They know everything they're on. They're in the spirit realm. They can feel you when you're thinking of them. They can feel you when you need them. They know. And they are there. Every time, my beautiful beings. So do what feels right for you. If you feel that it's a holy encounter and you want to keep it on, like it feels holy, and you want to be super reverent and you want to speak to them in a special way, then speak to them that way. Whatever feels right for you. All right, my beautiful beings. Always follow your heart. But know that to them, there's no right way or wrong way. They know you. They've been with you the whole time. Nothing that you say, nothing that you do will make them love you any less. That's what they want you to know. They're here to support you in your journey. That's all. All right, my beautiful beings. We love you. Remember to click like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the messages. And we'll see you in the next video, okay? Bye for now.